Well, you know, we gave $60 million 2 weeks ago, and nobody even acknowledged it for food. It's terrible. You know, you really at least want to have somebody say thank you.
If you do something for charity or some humanitarian cause, and you do it for a thank you, if you do it for recognition, it seems like that's not the correct way to go about it. There's a scripture in the Bible in Matthew about praying in public. I don't know how it goes exactly, but it's when you pray in silent in your house at home or in quietly to yourself. Don't do it on the street corners for the recognition to seem pious and noble, because that's your reward, is people thinking you're pious and noble. But if you pray in private to the Father who is in heaven, your reward will be in heaven. But if you do it in public all loudly, you got your reward then. I'm really probably butchering it, but that's the sentiment. And Donald Trump is the kind of guy who wants the earthly reward. He was asked a question about the ongoing humanitarian crisis, the genocide that is being waged against the Palestinian people by Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government. And starvation is in full effect. Dozens and dozens and dozens of people are dying weekly from starvation, which means it's a lagging indicator, deaths are, or the starvation itself is, because the more weak people get and the more sick they get from no food, from starving to death, the more they will come and die. They will start to die. We're going to start seeing the numbers grow exponentially, probably. And Donald Trump is asked about this. And he says, well, we just gave a bunch of money. You know, it's funny. No one ever thanks us. No one ever sends me a thank you note for doing it. Like a true humanitarian, right? Watch this clip and let's talk about what the situation on the ground is right now, where babies are dying from not having food, where mothers who are breastfeeding don't have the milk to feed their infants because they themselves are starving to death. And Donald f***ing Trump wants a thank you card.
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
Say it.
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
What did you say?
Should Israel be doing more to allow food into Gaza?
Well, you know, we gave $60 million 2 weeks ago, and nobody even acknowledged it for food. And it's terrible. You know, you really at least want to have somebody say thank you. No other country gave anything. We gave $60 million 2 weeks ago for food for Gaza. And nobody acknowledged it. Nobody talks about it. And it makes you feel a little bad when you do that and, you know, you have other countries not giving anything. None of the European countries, by the way, gave. I mean, nobody gave but us. And nobody said, gee, thank you very much. And it would be nice to have at least a thank you. And I took a lot of heat. You know, when I do that, a lot of people aren't happy about that because they say, well, why are we doing it and nobody else? But I think we had a humanitarian reason for doing it. What's going to happen? I don't know. I can tell you that Hamas, as I said would happen, at the end, you know, we've gotten back a lot of hostages, a tremendous number of hostages, most of them. Now we have dead hostages, and the mothers want them back.
Who should be sending that thank you card? Israel is systematically murdering. A genocide is in full swing right now that is being administered by the government of Israel. And Donald Trump wants a fucking thank you card. This is who he's talking about. He feels chagrined that he's not being thanked enough by this mother from NPR. His name is Muhammad El-Matwaq. He is 18 months old and he is starving in Gaza. Muhammad is a year and a half old and nearly all bone. His eyes protrude, as does his swollen stomach. His spine is so sharp and so defined, it seems it might poke through his skin. El-Matwaq, 30, says she no longer has breast milk to give him because she herself is malnourished. Look at these photos. I mean, these are the things that could get a video demonetized because they are so remarkable. And look at these captions. Read these captions. Hidayah El-Matwaq cradles her son, Mohammed, who is a year and a half old and weighs just under 10 pounds. In a tent where they are living, after being displaced by the war, baby Mohammed reaches up for his mother in the Gaza Strip. His 5-year-old sister is faring better, but Mohammed's small body has been able to withstand the hunger. This is one baby that is being starved to death by Benjamin Netanyahu. Just one of hundreds of thousands who will inevitably die. And even if they do survive, they will be saddled with lifelong health problems, chronic illness because of this early trauma to their body. And Donald Trump wants a motherfucking thank you. This is from the Council on Foreign Relations. Then I've got another clip. Gaza's food crisis is worsening. What to know? Malnutrition, has reached alarming levels in Gaza, aid officials say. With hunger now reportedly affecting civilians as well as journalists, doctors, and other personnel on the ground. This is from Mariel Ferragamo. This was just July 27th. This was yesterday. Hunger is reportedly surging in Gaza as the enclave of nearly 2 million people remains cut off from aid. UN and local health officials attribute hundreds of deaths in recent weeks either to malnutrition or people dying in desperate attempts to procure food from aid distribution points. Locals and humanitarian officials have said the situation is the worst they've witnessed since the start of the conflict in October 2023. On July 23rd, the Palestinian Health Ministry recorded 10 more people who have died from starvation over the previous 24 hours, bringing the 5-day total due to hunger to 43. The UN Palestinian Agency has said that 1 million children in Gaza, half the population, are now at risk of starvation. Half! Children! Starvation! And Donald Trump wants a thank you card. And when asked about this very thing, this weekend on Fox News, the State Department spokeswoman, Tammy Bruce, the former talking head at Fox News, was on Fox News. And she had this to say, taking away responsibility from Donald Trump and placing it squarely on the man who's responsible for the now rabid, insane humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the genocide and the famine.
They are the one entity that could stop this immediately by laying down their arms and releasing the hostages. They refuse to do so. And as the president noted, this now has to be a decision of the Israeli prime minister. But we have been contributing not just with negotiations and getting the parties to the table, but as the president noted, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars for food and aid, and making sure, of course, that it wouldn't get to Hamas in the meantime.
As the president has noted, this now has to be a decision for the Israeli prime minister. It's the same thing if you had heard this sentence during World War II, where a United States representative would have said, this is now has to be a decision of the Führer, Hitler, as to whether the Holocaust ends. Because that's what this is. This is a genocide of the Palestinian people. Babies, nursing mothers risk death because they cannot get food or water or basic nourishment. And it's a decision. It's a policy decision of the Israeli government. It is shocking to me that a people that was treated so horribly, inhumanely, they lived through their own genocide. And now their elected leader is seeing that a population is starved to death. These images are so reminiscent of what we saw in concentration camps all across Europe. And there are still people who will put the blame on this mother and child for this treatment. I hope you are not one of them that would place the blame on this mother and this innocent baby. This 18-month-old baby who's not even 10 pounds. My youngest brother was born at 10 pounds. This kid's 18 months old. Too busy trying to survive, doesn't have enough time or energy to send off that thank you card to Donald Trump for all of the food and humanitarian aid that he's not getting. (714-576-4054). That is the voicemail number. You can leave me a 3-minute voicemail. Google will cut you off if you go longer than that. You can also comment below. You can also email me, daily@dollemore.com. Look, I welcome dissent. I absolutely welcome dissent. But I don't know. How can anything I've said be wrong? How can there be any dissent? Because if you take up for the position of Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump and against the position of a mother who can't even nurse her child, what camp does that put you in? You. If you catch yourself, your knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, what about Hamas? Yeah, Hamas should be destroyed. But this ain't Hamas. You think this baby is a terrorist? And if you do think that, deal with yourself. Unfuck yourself. 2 million people face extermination from Benjamin Netanyahu, and Donald Trump wants a motherfucking thank you card. This is now the official position of the United States government. Disgusting. I hate to end there, but that's where we end. Be genuine. And it's not something I just say. Take care of one another.